you're running away. You're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running, but you can't run away from yourself. Hey, 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 run away from yourself. You must have done something wrong. Something wrong. Well, you must have done something wrong. Something wrong. I wanna know why you didn't find the place where you belong. Well, running away. Running away. Running away. Running away. I tell you what, every man think that his burden is the heaviest. Every man think that his burden is the heaviest. But I still know who feels it knows it, Lord. 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 You're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running and you're running away. You're running and you're running, but you can't run away from yourself. 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 Something you don't want nobody to know about. You must have, Lord, something is wrong. Take me down. What you must have done something wrong. Something is wrong. Why you can't find where you belong? Well, wow. Don't say that. Oh, you're running away. You're running away. Yeah. Them crazy. Come on, man. Them crazy. We're gonna chase those crazy bullets out of town. Come on, now. Chase those crazy bullets out of town. Yeah, I'll keep it like this. I build a cabin. I Then ya beat up all my corn. We're gonna chase those crazy. Come on, chase those crazy. Chase those crazy boys. Chase those crazy bumpers. Chase those boys out of town. Hey! Build your penitentiary. We build your schools. The brainwash education. You're trying to make us your fools. Well, encourage your reward for our love. Come on. Yelling at us off your God above. We're gonna chase those crazy. Chase those crazy. Chase those crazy boys. Come on. Chase those crazy bumpers. Chase those crazy boys out of town. Excuse me, and now you look at me with a scorn. Then ya beat up all my corn. We're gonna chase those crazy. Come on, chase those crazy. Chase those crazy boys. Chase those crazy bumpers. Chase those boys out of town. Hey! Build your penitentiary. We build your schools. The brainwash education. You're trying to make us your fools. Well, encourage your reward for our love. Come on. Yelling at us off your God above. We're gonna chase those crazy. Chase those crazy. Chase those crazy boys. Come on. Chase those crazy bumpers. Chase those crazy boys out of town. Excuse me, here come the conmen, coming with this conven. We won't take no bribe. We've got to stay alive. We're gonna chase those crazy. Chase those crazy. Chase those crazy bullets. It's like this. Chase those crazy bumpers. Chase those crazy bullets. Excuse me, here come the conmen, coming with this conven. We won't take no bribe. We've got to stay alive. We're gonna chase those crazy. Chase those crazy. Chase those crazy bullets. It's like this. Chase those crazy bumpers.
Chase those crazy bald heads out of town.
And a very good evening to you, and welcome to this evening's edition of Politics 101. The master himself, Robert Nesta Marley, Bob Marley, chased those crazy ballheads out of town. I build the cabin. I plant the corn. Then my people before me slave for this country. Now you look me with scorn and try to eat up all my corn. Build your penitentiary. We build your schools. Brainwash education to make us the fools. Hate is your reward for our love, telling us of your God above. Here comes the con man, coming with his con plan. We won't take no bribe because we gotta stay alive. Gotta chase those crazy bald heads, those crazy bumpheads out of our villages, out of our community. I build the cabin. I plant the corn. Then my people before me slave for this country called Guyana. Now you look me with scorn and you want to eat up all my corn. Chase those crazy ballheads out of town.
2012, when what started out as a protest over increased electricity tariffs in the mining town turned deadly. 3 persons were shot and killed by police officers during a confrontation between the protesters who had blocked the Wismar Mackenzie Bridge. A number of persons were also injured. At the time, the Ghana Human Rights Association had publicly expressed disgust at what transpired. In several quarters, the entire shootings were deemed unjustifiable and a total use of excessive force. Nightly News reached out to Sharma Solomon, who was the regional chairman at the time and who had addressed protesters, but was unable to solicit a comment. Social commentator Ruel Johnson feels it is important that communities in which violence happens move beyond just commemoration of victims of violence, but more importantly, ensure that justice is served.
We have to ensure that the state does not have the capricious capacity to inflict violence in general, or very specifically, to kill people.
Johnson made a point that the killing of the Linden Three remains a case of unjustifiable state violence.
And for me, that's the distinction. And no case has been made that these people, and it wasn't just a case where 3 people were murdered. You had citizens who were protesting on the bridge, were injured, just not fatally. So those victims still exist as well. And again, they have not been served justice.
The incident took place under the PPPC administration with Donald Ramatar as president, and while there were calls for Clement Roy, who served as Home Affairs Minister, to resign, the then president defended him. A commission of inquiry was conducted into the incident, and the commissioners at the time were paid astronomically more than what was proposed to the families of the deceased men. Minister Jordan, in his 2019 budget presentation, had lobbied the House for the families to receive more monies, since the sums allocated were appalling. Handel Duncan, HGP Nightly.
I build a cabin. I plant a corn. Didn't my people before me slave for our country? Now you look me with scorn and want to eat up all my corn. We got to chase those crazy ballets out of our communities. Good evening to you and welcome to Politics 101 on a Tuesday evening, a Tuesday night for some of us, Tuesday afternoon for others. Remembering those who were slaughtered in Linden. I was there that evening. I had been there all day, and I just addressed the crowd that was there when minutes later, gunshot pierced the evening. 3 murdered, many injured. I was on the bridge. I was lifted to safety by Gordon Calendar, the late Gordon Calendar, bad heart, and taken to a safe house. Later on that night, we were transported. I think Lincoln Lewis was also there. We were transported later that night to Georgetown. Early in the afternoon, Clifton Hicken, who was in charge, approached Aubrey Norton and myself and asked us to tell the people on the bridge to get off. Norton told him, we didn't put the people on the bridge. We have no authority to tell them to clear the bridge. We advised him to go and talk to the people himself. He didn't. We got the sense that something was up and something happened. Something did happen that night. We saw in the commentary Roel Johnson speaking truth to power, but now Roel Johnson is in the bosom of those who were murdered, those who murdered, our young, beautiful young black men. Here comes the con man, coming with his con plan. We won't take no bribe. We've got to stay alive. We ask the question, how many more? How much more must we take? How many more? How many more? How many more? How many more? How many more?
He's coming in the
How
doorway.
many more? How many more?
Sing, whoa. Mm-hmm. Hear my plea, oh Jah. A song for my land. I want everybody, get up out your seats. Put your hands in the air like this. Help me sing. Rose up early this morning to the sounds of crying. Another mother shedding her tears. Oh Jah, why all the pain and suffering? Why all the senseless killing? Could it be that nobody cares? So no. So many sons lost in the slaughter, blood running in the streets like water. A gun in hand knows no friend. Oh, warmongers selling death in my land, getting rich off the souls of the children. Can you tell me when will it end? Sing, how many more Jah must carry this load? Oh Jah, how many more Jah before we trot down Zion Road? How many more? Sing, wayo, wayo, wayo. Come on, let me see those hands. Heavenly Father, won't you hear my plea? Send a helping hand for the country. In man, there's no solution. No, I'm begging for the children's future. Oh, Jah, drugs got them by the collar. How can we stop this mind pollution? Too many starving and too many hungry. Too many homeless souls in the city. It seems like there's no. Too many big shots with too much connections. Too many loopholes in Babylon system. Oh Jah, how can your children cope? Sing, how many more Jah must carry this load? How many more Jah before we trot down Zion Road? What you, what you. Let me see those hands. Let me see the hands. If you care about our children, get up, let me see you. We can't go on each day, no. We got to find a better way. People, it's up to each of you to help our children through this cruel and torrid life, 'cause it's we who created the strife. Say, how many more Jah must carry this load? How many more Jah before we drop down Zion Road? Oh, how many more? How many more? How many more? Hey, how many more? How many more? Oh, dear. Won't you hear my plea? I'm down on bended knees. Oh, Jah, how many more? I said I rose up early this morning to the sounds of crying, another mother shedding her tears. Oh, yeah. How many more? 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 Thank you.
Brother John King out of Barbados, doing that calypso in 1996, 29 years ago, crop over. 29 years later, it's still the anthem of the oppressed in our Guyana, our Caribbean, and the Black world. How many more? How many more? How many more? The answer to that question lies in the hands of Africans. Brother Bob Marley alerted us. Here comes the con man. Here comes the con man with his con plan. We're taking no bribes. We got to stay alive. Oh, what wonderful prophetic words in the prophetic African tradition. 50 years ago, Brother Bob Marley penned and sung those words. It's still the anthem. Here comes the con man with its con plan. We're gonna take no bribes because we gotta stay alive. Didn't my people before me slave for this country? I plant a cabin, I build a cabin, and I plant a corn. Didn't my people before me slave for this country? Now you look me in my face with scorn and want to eat up all my corn. Tonight, we are here again. And this campaign, that is a multifaceted campaign. Oh yes, it's an election campaign, but it's more than that for us. It's a campaign to restore our dignity in a country that has used the state and the government to bruise and assault the dignity of the African. We got to stay alive. We got to stay alive. In passing, I want to say a few words to Mr. Christopher Kit Nascimento. Some time ago, I heard the young people say Nascimento. I never uttered those words. But Mr. Nascimento, who is the consultant working for the president of Guyana, the propaganda czar, declared that my brother Takumo Ogunse and myself, that we have no place in Guyanese politics. We should be banished from Guyanese politics. His words dripped from his pen and I suppose his heart as he echoed the words of Bharat Jagdeo, the de facto president of half of Guyana, who, in reference to me, said I would be banished from Guyanese politics, that I'm lucky that Guyana is a tolerant democracy. I am lucky that Guyana is a tolerant democracy. I said then, and I'm saying it again, I don't know that Guyana is a tolerant democracy. But whatever Guyana has that can be called a democracy, I fought fit. Jack Dio never fought 1 minute of his life for that which he speaks about. Not 1 minute. I fought, I sacrificed, I paid with my liberty for whatever you call democracy in Guyana. My name and others like me, our name are written on it. Jack Dio's does not even have honorary mention. And I dare say Kit Nascimento also, but I will get to Kit in a minute. If you want to banish Ogunse and David Hines from Guyanese politics, you're talking about banishing part of our national instinct, because we are not just individuals. We are part of the national instinct. And it's an instinct to rise up when indignity and oppression are heaped on people. And when we rise up, we don't look over our shoulders. It's a tendency. We have a tendency where people rise up and they look over their shoulder. We have a tendency where people condemn, but they look over their shoulder. The tendency that Ogunse and I come from, and together we have 110 years of service to the working people of Guyana. The scars, our scars, are there to show. We didn't just chat. We didn't threaten people. We didn't wait for the state and government to be in our hands before we rose up and said, oh, no more, no more. And we made it possible for the generations that come after us to be able to live in some state, relative state of freedom. That freedom is daily being assaulted by these little baggage boys calling themselves presidents and vice presidents. But they are con men who come to us with a con game trying to bribe us. I was born in this land. I'm going to die in Guyana. Nobody go run me from where me come from. Me mama must nyam, me pupa must nyam. Me auntie must nyam, me picnic must nyam. I'm quoting, of course, there from the great Emmanuel MacLean, Lord Short from Antigua and Barbuda. Nobody go run me from where me come from. Me mama must nyam, me pupa must nyam, me picnic must nyam. They will have to bury me more than 6 feet and more. I still gonna be speaking because, as Brother Claude McKay said, let us face the monster with our backs pressed to the wall, dying but fighting back. That is what the legacy I want to leave for my country. Dying but fighting back. and no little tin and cup boys will stop me. Didn't my people before me slave for this country? Let me put in larger context. My brother Takumo on my program and on Brother Norman's program did a masterful job of presenting our case. You see, Kit Nascimento came to Guyana after Ogunse and Hines. Barat Jagdio came to Guyana after Ogunse and Hines. Where am I going? Does it mean that if you came after, you have less legitimacy? No. No matter what time you come, you are Guyanese. Our soil is watered with your contribution. But here is where I'm going. I came against my will. I worked for 240 odd years against my will. I met swamps, I met snakes, I met vermin, and with my hands and my brains, I transformed the swamp into the oasis of livelihood that Mr. Nascimento and Mr. Jagdio came to. Oh, I cleared the swamp so that snakes would not bite you, Chris Nascimento, when you came. I dug the canals, Mr. Jagdio, so you can have water to fish in and to bathe your skin when you came. Mr. Nascimento and Mr. Jagdio, you should get down on your knees and thank me for creating humanity that you could come to. Without my hands, my body, my brains, you would be coming to swamp, to a wild coast, to the jungle of jungles. Get down on your knees and thank me. Thank me. But you want to banish me. You want to banish Ogunse. You want to banish the hands that cleared the debris from the land so that you could live as a human being. You want to banish my brother and I. But you shall not succeed. Every African, whether they are dark skin, fair skin, mix up, you will have to banish each one of them. Because I make bold to say tonight, part of my bone, part of Ogunse's blood run in the veins of every African in Guyana. So if you want to banish Ogunse and you want to banish David Hines, You will have to banish all those in whose blood we flutter, we swim. I am talking it as I know how to talk it. As I've said, the campaign has begun. We cleared Guyana of the European oppressor. We did. We just celebrated Republican status. We will be celebrating independence in a couple of months. Those who brought our people here against their will, those who tricked Indians and Portuguese and Chinese, but especially Indians, and brought them here to work as indentured laborers, tricked them. At independence, we said, it's time for you to go. And they left. But there's some remnants in the form of the Nacimentos who still believe that their European blood, as superior blood in their mind, gives them the right to tell the black man, the African man and woman, what to do, to decide for us who our leaders should be. But I have news for them. They did not create Kofi and Atta and Akrabre. They did not create a Damon, Kwamina. They did not create Fobbs Burnham and the UC Kwayana and Jane Phillips Gay. They did not create Walter Rodney. We created them. They came out of the bowels of our struggle. And David Hines and Ogunsi came out of those bowels, those wombs, the womb of the African personality, the womb of the African soul. And none like Nascimento can tell us that we have no right in our country to be activists. I said it here once. Nascimento, you represent the few. You represent clients. David Hines represent people. You represent clients. You sell your intellect to the highest bidder. David Hines represents human beings. David Hines represents the many. You represent the few. David Hines walks around not with cup in hand. He walks around with the fist clenched in the sunlight, clenched in the dark of the night, waiting to push the oppressors out of the collective face of the oppressed. My auntie, God bless her soul, she had a tremendous impact on my life. And she worked for Portuguese. She worked as a maid. Among the many jobs she did, she sold what could be sold. She worked as a maid in the kitchen of a Portuguese family. And sometimes I would go to that house. Wonderful people. They were nice people. But I saw my aunt, who was a proud African woman, almost bowing and saying, "Yes, mistress. Yes, mistress. Yes, mistress." And I saw the pain as she did it. As I got older, I realized she was doing it for me, for my sisters and brothers, earning money so that we could make something of our lives. And she would come home tired, and she would cuss from Harry wrong to Harry right. And she looked at us and said, "Not one of you all will work in people's kitchen. Not one of you will work in a Portuguese kitchen. I am doing it so that you all don't have to do it." I said 2 years ago to Kit Nascimento, "Kit, you've got to come to grips with the fact that that little boy who watched his aunt, watch his auntie struggle with her dignity as she tried to earn a penny to send her children to school. That little boy is now a grown-up. Kit Nascimento, I am now your equal, thanks to my auntie. And you are not going to dictate to Miss Cecilia, son, nephew, what he must say and must not say in Guyana. Never. That time has gone, Kit Nascimento. You now look me. I come from the nigger yard of yesterday, leaping from the oppressor's hate and the scorn of myself. And to the world of tomorrow, I turn with my strength. And you have to deal with that strength. The strength of the black man, the strength of the African. Out of 200 years of toil, without pay. But today, we will not live on our knees. You're talking to Cecilia. Cecilia, son, who's now your equal. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. I came before you, Kit. Ogunse came before you, Kit. And we made it possible for you to come as a free citizen. And you want now to take my freedom, Ogunse freedom, and fling it out of Guyana? I will take that freedom and fling it in your face and say, take that. Mr. Jagdeo, you know not what you say because you have no sense of history. Your generation of PPP leaders is an embarrassment to the great tradition of Indo-Guyanese contribution to Guyana. I can't tell Indian Guyanese who their leaders should be. I will not tell them they choose you as their leader. That is their right. that is your business. But stay in your lane. Stay in your lane. Don't come over in my lane. You have no business there because you're going to be knocked over. We don't need a Jack Dio as African people. We don't need a Jack Dio to tell us what is good for us. Jack Dio, you came after us. The scholars say we have agency. And we're going to use that agency sooner rather than later. As I said last week, you tell me that I am lucky that Guyana is a tolerant democracy. I don't know that Guyana is a tolerant democracy. But even if Guyana has the D in the democracy, I fight for it. My name right on it. But here is what I want to tell you, Barrett. You are abundantly lucky that Black people are tolerant. You are very lucky that Black people are tolerant. And you are very lucky that their children went to school. You are very lucky that the African conscience is not a violent conscience. It's one that is full of love. Where can you find more love? That after 230 odd years of enslavement, those who enslaved my fathers and my mothers, they went bankrupt. And my father and my mother, after emancipation, took their own cash that they earned between 1834 and 1838 and give it to the slave master to get himself out of bankruptcy. That is the highest form of love. That's where I come from, Barrett Jack Dio. And it is that love that you are lucky. You are lucky that African people are endowed with that immense repertoire of love. You murder. Your government murdered 1,200 of their sons and daughters. You demolish their homes. You deny them a living wage. You spat in the faces of their women. And you walk Guyana only because they are a loving and tolerant people. And their leaders are perhaps too loving and too tolerant. And you watch a strong Black man and tell him that he's lucky. As I said, when the costume of power falls from your body, come to Buxton Line Top where the women stop the train and engage me, man to man. I learned many things in life, but one of the things I never learned is how to be a coward. Takuma Ogunse learned many things, but he never learned to be a coward. We do not have guns and bullets. We do not have the power of the state. We do not have armies and police. We do not have bodyguards. We do not have private security. What we do have is a courage born of 400 years and more of oppression, but comes from deep within the veins of Africa, from Timbuktu, from Songhai, from the Nile Valley, from Ghana. We have that strength, that conviction. When you hear my words, I want you to know that the education that my auntie gave me cut the words open, and you will find wisdom in there. Teacher George Young said, Guinea border, Allah, not the yelly. When you hear me say lick bottom, I'm saying more. I'm saying to you that I'm ready. We are ready. Ogunse is ready. The WPA is ready. Righteous black men and women are ready to confront your sordid, rotten regime. That's what is buried just beneath the surface in the words that I use. I spoke so that my people could understand me. Marching orders. Here comes the con man, coming with his con game. We're not taking any bribes. We got to stay alive. Bob Marley peep your card 50 years ago. Jack Deo. And you ought to be so ashamed to use black men who are 50 times more intelligent than you are to be your con men, coming to our communities with a con game, trying to bribe us. I pray for those brothers because they're Africans too. That is why I didn't just call them lick bottom. I put Africans to it because they come from us. And the phenomenon that I address is not an individual phenomenon. It's not about any individual. It's about a phenomenon. It's about a dangerous development. One of my brothers who fancy that I'm speaking to him referred to me as fringe. Oh, fringe elements. David Hines is fringe. I said this morning on Kedaki's program, I'm going to say it again. No fringe drives the agenda. For the last 3 weeks, this fringe, this African, has turned the tables. The powers respond to me and not the other way around, where we are constantly reacting to them. They kill our people, we react, we cry, we weep, we think. I showed my people how to turn the tables. Let them react to you. I'm happy if that is what fringe mean. I am a proud fringe element. From president to vice president, where I was away and I wanted to react immediately. That's the power David Hines has. Even when you're away, to react immediately. That's the power that this African has. And the power that I have comes from the African people and the friends of African people and those who are in solidarity with the African people, especially the working class people of all races. You've got to react to me when it's in the dead of the night, because I am strong. I represent strength. I may smile every now and again. I may laugh. But behind that laughter is a flashing blade that you will not ignore so long as you sit in that seat of power. That's what I'm talking about. And fringe. And fringe. Where is blue thread? Where is red thread? Where is God? Where are the angels to condemn this fringe? I'm showing my people what you can do without the armies of the state. Did the PPP condemn the minister who tell a lady but dildo in parliament? When a minister was accused of taking advantage of an Amerindian child, did the PPP condemn him? But they feel that black people are stupid. So they dare to come to our black leaders and ask them to condemn another black leader. It's the height of disrespect. I am waiting for you all to come and ask me to condemn Nigel Hughes or Aubrey Norton or any black leader. I'm waiting for you all to come to me with that nonsense. Any African leader, any opposition leader of any race who offends this autocratic dictatorial government gets my unvarnished solidarity. Unvarnished. Whether I agree with their language or not, that will stay inside of my heart. You come to me, I tell you what? I am in solidarity with that African leader, that opposition leader. Very early in this regime, Sister Manza Walton Desir, on this very program, attempted to use our intelligence to analyze race and race relations in Guyana. And they hung that sister's head on a pole on Parade Street. And if it were not for Vincent Alexander and myself and some others, they would have skinned that sister. I didn't say I didn't agree with her language, or I didn't agree with this and I didn't agree with that, or I would have done it differently. That is not their business what I will be done differently. I said, you are not going to lynch this sister, not in this country that our ancestors prepared for you to come. You are not going to do it. She didn't have to be a member of my party. That is the politics of the Working People's Alliance that I'm a proud member since I was 15 years old. That is the politics that I want to give and to leave with my people. I will never, in this time, join with the PPP to condemn any of our soldiers. Never. As Brother Aubrey said, he can't speak for me, and I can't speak for Brother Aubrey. I can't speak for Brother Nigel. But what I do know, if they put their hand on me tomorrow, Brother Nigel Hughes will be the first lawyer there to defend me. I am confident of that. If they put their hand on me, Brother Aubrey, as he did when they put their hand on Brother Kidaki, before I could start to call lawyers, he was there calling lawyers. That's enough for me. I'm a revolutionary. Takuma Ogunse is a revolutionary. We do it our way. Our political upbringing is one that comes from a particular sector and section of the Guyanese praxis. We ask no quarter, and we give none. Let me make it clear. I rather lose 1,000 crossover votes to save one African life. I rather lose 10,000 crossover votes to save one African life. You see what they did to my sisters and my mothers and my brothers at Mocha Arcadia? It stays in my mind. Every day I open my eyes, the images are there in front of me. Two morning more. I'm not a man of revenge. I'm a man of justice. There may be statutes of limitation in court, but there are no statutes of limitation in human rights politics. There may be statutes of limitations when it comes to court cases, but there's no statute of limitation when it comes to justice for the oppressed. When you lick down those homes in Mocha Arcade, you lick down my home. I am speaking as the only way I know how to speak. Mr. Rafi Dev said that my words were what he called, I think he called it linguistic violence or something like that, you know. It's not violence. Dr. Martin Luther King showed us what the word could do. That man led a revolution, the civil rights revolution in the United States of America, with words. There were other things, but words. I think I understand the power of words. I understand what words can communicate. I understand language, and I will use it as a weapon, always a weapon against the oppressor. There are times when you are left with nothing but your body. Walter Rodney said, use my body as a barricade for the revolution. somebody who said he's a pollster, a pollster, not he said, he's a pollster, called me just before this program and said, Dr. Hines, I have good news for you. I said, what is the good news? You get some money? I can do some consultancy and earn some money. He said, no. We just did a poll and the WPA is polling at 6.6%, up from 3 point something, he said, the last time they polled. And that 60% of those polled, 65% of those polled agree with the sentiments and words that you uttered 2 weeks ago. 65%. The first thing I asked, I said, what about those Africans? He said, well, vast majority of Africans and people of other races, that is why it came up to 65% of people. I said, thank you. You know, I'm going to prepare for my program now, so we'll talk later about that. Listen, it's good. We are a political party. In electoral terms, we are a small political party. It's good to know that we are polling at 6.6%. You know, polls are snapshots in time, and we understand that polls are not always reliable. But as a quote unquote fringe political party, according to my brothers, we will take 6.6% any day. I asked him what the other parties are doing, what the collective opposition is doing. And the collective opposition stands at 49.2% ahead of the PPP. Again, polls are a snapshot in time. Of that 49.2%, he said that WPA has 6.6%. I asked how many people were polled. He said they polled 500 people. So 6.6% of 500 is somewhere, of 500 people, it looks like 40-something people out of 500 said that they will give their vote to the WPA. It means, more importantly, according to that poll, that 240 out of 500 are giving their votes to the collective opposition. That is what is more important for me. How the WPA does electorally or in polls is not my primary concern. That is important because it tells us how much we are contributing to the mobilization of our people. And that's important when you're in a coalition. But the important thing is what the collective opposition is doing. That is my concern. You see, for us in the Working People's Alliance, this election is not just an end in itself. It's a means to an end. We have a lot to do. Removing the PPP is a means to an end. The end has to be where peoples of all races, all ethnic groups have an equitable share of our windfall wealth. That is an end that we in the Working People's Alliance are concerned about. We want a governance system that guarantees security to all ethnic groups when the election is over. We want a mechanism where the money that comes from the windfall is not spent on people's pet projects. We want an end where our women don't have to rush off at 5 and 6 o'clock in the afternoon to go working at night as a security guard while their children, including their girl children, are left to the elements. We want that end. We want an end where our young people are guaranteed a future in which they can feel secure regardless of their race and their ethnicity, but especially because of those who, especially those at the bottom of the social ladder, because they need that security more than others. The end must be that the windfall that we get from oil must go to indirect development, but also direct development. We shall banish cash grants and replace them with cash transfers sanctioned by law and given to households that include teenage parents. So the election for us is not an end in itself, it's a means to an end. As an African, the end of the election must mean the heels that are pressed on the chest of the African must be removed. The knees that are pressed on the chest of the African and the Amerindian and the poor Indian, those knees must be removed. So I say to Nascimento, Kit, you have made your contribution to our country. You serve under the PNC as a minister, not a soup drinker. Your dignity should not allow you, at your age, to be drinking soup. Mr. Burnham would have never invited you to drink soup. But you're allowing yourself to be drawn into the soup drinking line. And in exchange, you want to banish Ogunse and Hines. But as I said, Kit, Ogunse and Hines were here before you, and we made it possible for you to come here and to live as a Guyanese. And we are not going to permit you to dictate for our people how they must think and what they must think. Drink your soup is you mouth. If it burn you, is you mouth. But don't, in the European tradition, try to treat Black people, as you all used to say, half human and half animal. We are not half human and half animal anymore. Miss Cecilia, son, is now your equal. You learned Keats and Wordsworth. He learned Lamin and Carter and A.J. Seymour and Louise Bennett and Auntie Comsey, God bless her soul. She just passed away at 104. You learn the science of cricket. Miss Cecilia grandson also learned the science of cricket. He learned it from C.L.R. James. You learn it from Englishmen. You wrote dissertations. Miss Cecilia grandson wrote dissertations too. Kit Nascimento, know your place. Know your place. This is not the old colonial Guyana where your European heritage guaranteed you a certain lofty position. This is a new Guyana. The PPP has corrupted it, but it's a new Guyana, Kit. It's a new Guyana. Let the words of my mouth, meditation of my heart be acceptable in the sight of all the sufferers tonight. Oh, let the power from Zion fall on us. Give I justice, peace, and love. Let the wicked burn in flames for I. Give I justice, peace, and love. Love always. Without love, we are nothing. But our love must be a tough love. A love that is grounded in consciousness. Consciousness of who we are and where we stand in the struggle, Robert Nesta Marley. And Brother Bob said, soon we'll find out who are the real revolutionaries, because I don't want my people to be tricked by mercenaries. Don't want my people to be tricked by mercenaries. And they're mercenaries roaming our Guyana. I don't want my people to be tricked by mercenaries. Soon we'll find out who's the real revolutionary. Brother, you're right. You're so right. Because in every man's chest, there beats a heart. And in the black chest, there beats a beautiful heart. A resistant heart. And when we let loose that resistance in Guyana, the days of the autocrats are numbered. Let them talk. Let them scandal my name. You all know the one. Let them talk. Let them scandal my name. I don't give a damn. Burnham used to say, back to back, belly to belly, I don't give a damn. I done dead already. Walter Rodney used to say, longevity is a wonderful thing. I would like to live a long life. But if I fall in the line of struggle, use my body as a barricade for the revolution. Dr. Martin Luther King said, tonight, I am fearing no man, for I've been to the mountaintop and I've seen the promised land. I may not get there with you, but we as a people will get there. And we as a Guyanese, as an African people, as an anti-autocratic movement of people of all races and all classes, we will get there. because the paper tigers are just that. They're more paper than tigers. And in any case, as Martin Carter said, tigers don't think nor swine. Tigers don't think nor toads nor rooting swine. Only man. Just listen and you will know. In South Africa, they drink the blood of black women. In Malaysia, the hero is hunted and shot like a dog. Here they watch us and lick their tongues like beasts who crouch to prey upon some little child. But I warn them like a tide from the heart of things. Inexorably and inevitably a day will come. If I do not live to see that day, my son will see it. If he does not see it, his son will see it. And it will come circling this world like fire. It will come to Guyana, and it will come to all the land. And when it comes, I shall come alive again and laugh again and walk out of this prison. The great Martin Carter, letter 1. The great Martin Carter. I will come alive again and laugh again. We will come alive again and laugh again and walk out of this artificial prison that is being built by those who have stolen the people's power.